Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kurtivada. In this video, we will learn about reset password module. In my previous videos, we have completed login, registration, profile, and now we are targeting for the reset password module. And also we have completed the top bar module as well. So I'll show you how it looks in our application. So let me quickly jump into browser, and here is the one we have created in our previous videos. We have dashboard, notes, reset password, and you have a profile update page, and we have integrated our profile update with our backend as well. Now what we are doing is we are going with a reset password. So what that reset password functionality is, whenever he goes to the reset password, he should enter the new password and confirm password and also the previous password whatever we have, and then once he submits that, it has to store and it has to update in the mock API. Once he logs out and logs in again, that should accept the new password. So that's what we will be targeting over here. And if the confirmation password and the password are not same, then we will be showing an error. And there is another option, like you have something called as password, that is the current password. If the current password does not matches with the backend API, then also will not store the data in our mock API database. So now let me quickly jump into coding part. Here we already created that reset password. If you go into our app routing, you have something called as reset password, and the reset password will be inside the admin module. Why? Because it is after login. The screens whatever we are seeing after login, that are maintained in our admin layout component. That's why you are seeing the top bar. Now we are using this reset password. Let me go into the reset password one, and here it requires some set of modules. So I require something called as material module, and I also require something called as predefined modules. Predefined modules contains this reactive forms, HTTP client module, everything, and the material module will have all the material stuff. Let me save this. Now let me go into our routing of this reset password, and whenever I give the reset password, it has to go into our reset password component. So let me go into this reset password component, and now we will be writing all our HTML content inside this reset password component.html. So let me go into reset password.component.html, and it also requires the same strategy however we have for the profile. So if you see the profile, you are getting this profile update, and we are getting the header and also the form structure. Now what I want to do is I want to move back to the reset password with the same type of UI. So let me go here and just go into our profile.component.html, and now let me copy this and put it over here, and then we have to use something called as reset password, and then we have something called as get user details. Let me remove this for now, and we have a cancel button. Inside this cancel button I want to use reset, and here we are using a profile form. We'll talk about it a bit later. Now how many fields we want? For example, here it is completely related to the passwords, so let me remove the email. We don't want that, and the first name, we don't need this first name as well, and then I don't need this last name as well, and mobile number, it is not required. Let me remove this, and then interested topics, we don't want, but we want a password field, so let me remove this as well, and go into our register component.html and just get that particular password. So where is that password? Here is my password. Let me copy this password and put it over here. Now how many passwords we want? The current password. So current password, and the current password should not have any validation, because you are giving a hint to the user that this current password will be in this particular format. So that's why I just copy this div and put it over here. That is nothing but one more div and one more div. So one is the current password, and one is something like new password, and then confirm new password. This confirm new password and the password should have these particular validations. So let me use confirm new password. So let me go into our TS and create our form. So how to create the form? Already we know that we need a constructor for that, and then we need on init. So on init is something like an interface. So let me implement this for this particular class, something called as on init. And inside this on init we have a method called as ng-on-init, and inside this ng-on-init let me call this dot initiate form. that is nothing but reset form. So let me create a reset form over here, reset form, and it is of type form group. And then we have this reset form. Let me copy this initiate form and let me make it as private, because we will be using only this particular file, not in the HTML, and it will not return anything. Let me use void. So now let me write that particular form. So this dot reset form is equal to, I'll just get the dependency, that is nothing but a form builder. So let me get the builder and form builder. Now this form builder I can use here and create our own form builder with a group. So let me create a group, and inside this group let me give some set of fields. Here I want a current password, and which is of type empty, and validators dot compose, and this compose already we did inside our register. So let me go into register component.ts, and if you see here we have this password validation. So let me copy this password validation and then go to your reset password and put it over here. But actually speaking, for our current password we don't need these validators. For now let me import this, and let me copy this and make it as couple of duplicates, and instead of current password I'll use new password, and then I'll be using a confirm password. So that is done, and let me remove this validation. So here I have the current password, new password, and the confirm password. Let me save this. Now let me copy this reset password, go into our HTML part, and instead of register form let me make it as a reset form. So let me go into our reset password, copy this reset form and put it over here, replace all. And now let me change some stuff, whatever it is required for us. So current password we need it, so let me remove this div because we don't have any validations for it. New password, it has some set of validations and we wrote that validations over here, but the form control names are a bit different. So here the form control name is password, but it should be current password. Let me copy this current password and put it over here, and then let me go into our new password, and the form control name is new password. Copy this and then put it over here at the form control, and that is equivalent to this password and this password, password and password and password. So now these all related to the new password, and we have something called as confirm password. Let me copy this confirm password and let me put over here inside this form control, and then let me use confirm password, and then confirm password. All these confirm passwords will validate only the confirmation password related stuff. Let me save this. Now let me check, this is profile form dot invalid, that's good, and the form group name is profile form, so actually it should not be a profile form, it should be reset form. Let me copy this, put it over here, and let me go here and put it over here. So reset form dot invalid, and we have something called as ng submit. On submitting I want to reset the password, so let me use reset password submission. So let me copy this and go into our reset password. It is used in our HTML, so I'm making it as public and it will not return anything, so void, and we have to call the API from here. Let me save this and save this. Now we have something called as is password hidden. So let me go into our TS and then let me use this as a boolean value, and by default I'll make it as false. So now the case is password hidden, we are using inside this, and it is showing an I symbol. So based on the click of that I symbol we are showing it, but here we have three different types of fields, that is password hidden for current password, is password hidden for new password, is password hidden for confirm password. So for that sake what I'll do is just I'll go here and I'll create three different variables. One is for new password hidden, or let me make in sequence, current password, new password hidden, and confirm password hidden. So let me copy this, and only for the first field related to the current password I'll be using this current password hidden, and this is done. So let me go here and copy the new password hidden. So let me go into this new password hidden, new password, and new password. Let me go into TS, copy this confirm password hidden and put it over here inside the confirm password. paste and paste and then paste and then paste. So config password is also done. Let me save this and save this. Let me go into our terminal, and here we are not seeing any errors. And let me go into reset.html. Here I'll change this into reset password heading. So reset password heading and save this. Now go back. Let me go into reset password. You can see current, new and confirm password, but this is not showing completely. So let me go into our register.scss and let me copy this and put it over here inside the reset password.scss and put it over here. Save this. Now you are seeing current password, new password, confirm password, and the reset password is a button. So let me type something and you are seeing this. Let me click this. It is not there. So the boolean value whatever we have inside our TS, that is in notation format. So let me go here. Let me make this as true and pass it as true so that it will not be visible by default. So let me save this and type this. You are not able to see. Let me click on this and type this, and let me click on this, type this, and let me click on this. So you are saying password should contain alphanumeric and special characters of minimum 8 characters. And the same thing we are framing here, but even if this matches, the new password and the confirm password should match each other. So that one we will try to fulfill. So for example, I tried to type Sai@123 and here I got Sai@12345, and here also I made 46. But if you see here, it is 45 and it is 46. So at this time also we are enabling the password, reset password, but that should not be the case, because whenever I submit this, before the submission itself, these two should be valid. That means new password and the confirm password should be valid. So for that sake, what I'll do is I'll write one condition for our password, that is confirm password. We will only target for the confirm password. Once the confirm password and our new password matches, then it will be enabled. So for that sake, what I can do is I can do something like I can write one if condition, that is nothing but our confirm password related stuff and the confirm password required and the pattern. So let me write something, a new one. That is nothing but, so let me write new validation. So for that sake, what we can do is, instead of writing a complex logic, what I'll do, I'll just compare this particular confirm new password with our confirm password, that is the new password. So let me close this and go here. What I'll do is, inside our init, that is after initialization of reset form, what I'll do is I'll make a subscription for this dot get, and I want to check the value changes on this particular form, but I want to check only for the new form, that is new password. Whenever there is a change in the new password, I want to check the value changes, and whenever there is a value changes happen, I'll just subscribe to these values. So I'll be getting a result for that change, that is a new change for the new password. Then I'll be comparing our new password with our confirm password. So in that case, either you can use a new password check, or there is one more opportunity or option to check this, that is nothing but value changes on the form itself. So I am checking whether there is any value changes on this form, and you will be getting a result, and the result will be object which is having a current password, new password and confirm password. So now what I'll do is I'll just use response dot current password equal to response dot, sorry, it's not current password, we have to use new password, and then we will be checking this confirm password. If both are same, then I'll be creating a variable, and the variable is password match colon, it's a boolean value. So let me use a boolean value and make it as false. For now there is no match, and whenever there is a value change happen on this particular confirm password and the new password, then we can say password match is equal to true, else we can say something like this dot password match is equal to false. We can do in many ways. So this is one of the way which I can do. Now we are checking the password match, but we have to check along with response dot new password should be there, and we have to check this only in these cases. So that's why I'm checking with confirm password. That means you should have the value, okay, and that value should be equivalent to each other. So in this case, first time it will be empty, so it will always be false. Okay, so let me save this, and it should have at least confirm password. That is also fine. So let me make it as or. So in this case we are making this password match as true. That means you should have any one of the value and then that both values should be equal. So let me go here, and what I will be doing over here is this dirty check should happen and invalid check should happen. Then what we can do here is, instead of showing everywhere, I will be using this disable, and it should match. Password match should happen and it should be invalid. Then it should be disabled. No, wrong. So password, if it is not matching, then it should be disabled. And so let me use something like a paragraph over here, or let me use some paragraph inside this div. We have one more div. Let me consider a div, and here I can use star ng if, and we have to give the expression that is nothing but password match. If no password matches, then I can use this particular paragraph and put it over here. Now what I can do is, if password does not match, then we can say that password does not match. Save this and go here. Now you can see password does not match is showing directly. So what we have to do is, we have to check this by default. By default we are using a false and the not condition. That's why it is showing. So what I'll do is, I'll especially make this as null. That means boolean or null. So in this case my password match is null. Null will also check like this. So for that sake, what I can do is, if password match is explicitly false, then only this should happen, and that is not visible over here. So let me do something here, and there is a password does not match because these two are not equal. So what I can do is, I can just type something Sai Kumar @12345 and Sai @12345 and check that both matches or not. So actually speaking, it is Sai Kumar @12345, and now it is enabled. Let me remove this. Password does not match, but the reset password is enabled. Why? Because we are using an AND condition. Instead I'll use OR condition. Let me save this. Now let me go here, give Sai @12345 and then Sai @12345. Now let me check this. It is absolutely fine, and the current password is, let me go into mock API, go to the data, and inside the data I have Sai Kumar Kortiwada, and the password here is Sai @12345. Copy this and go here into this and put it over here. You can see that Sai @12345. And once the user submits this, we have to check one more condition over here. When the user clicks on reset password, then it will be calling an API. So instead, before calling the API, what we have to do? We have to get three conditions. If my form value, that means let me get the form value, const payload is equal to this dot reset form dot value, and this will give you whole object. Inside this object, let me confirm this dot the payload dot, what is that payload value? That is the current password should not be equal to this, or payload dot new password, or the same thing should not be equal to our confirm password as well. So should not be equal to our confirm password. So then if it is the current password is not matching with the new password and confirm password, then one more check. If my payload question mark dot current password is matching with payload dot confirm password, then you are ready to save the data. Now if this doesn't match, else why we are checking here? Why not only in the HTML? Because if you are checking only in the HTML, that can be manipulated at any point of time. That's why we are checking even in the TypeScript logic. So now we have this reset form value, and we are checking the current password not equal to new password, current password not equal to confirm password. So in this case we have to throw a error in the else condition. So for that sake, let me go here and bring our private snack bar service, and the service is mat snack bar. So now this snack bar service, already we wrote our logic inside our registration as well. So let me go into register.component.ts, and let me go into our snack bar service. Here the snack bar service logic is this one. Let me copy this and go here, put it over here, and the snack bar service is equivalent to the snack bar service. So now it will open a pop-up. So here it is not a failure. So let me cut this and put it over here. This snack bar will open and it should say that current password should not be equal to confirm or new password. So this is an error message, and let me save this. Let me copy the same thing, and here also we have an else condition. So let me put it over here, and instead of saying this, we can say that new password and confirm password didn't match. New password should match the confirm password. So this should be the case, and let me save this. Now when the current password and the confirm password are same, then we have to save this data. For saving this data, we should know where to save the data. So for that sake, let me go into our service, that is nothing but user service. Inside the user service, we already have update user by user ID, and we are sending the user details, and this user details will be passed over here, and you will be saving the data. Now what I want to do here, the thing is we want to save only password. So for that sake, what I'll do is simple. I will be using update password by user ID. So we need to get the user ID and we need to pass the user ID for it. And here the case is string, and I want to pass only the password. So I'm just getting the password alone to this. So that is of type string, which will return an observable, and the observable will be iUser again. And here what I will do is I'll return this dot http client dot get of, or just put, I'm updating it, so putting this and just copy this user ID, okay, and then we will be passing something called as password, which is again a password for us. So we have to know what we are passing to the API. So in this case we have to return as observable, and which is of type iUser. So let me save this. Now what we will do, http client dot put, and we are sending the password. So this password should match the key of our password. So let me go here, and here the key is password. So it is absolutely fine. Now we have to send this password and the user ID, and we will be calling this particular update password by user ID. So let me copy this, put it over here like this dot. I want to get that first. So we need to get the user service. Let me use private user service, and I'll be using something called as user service and inject this user service. So now the injected user service I can use like this dot user service dot get or reset or update password by user ID, and the user ID you will be getting from local storage. So instead of getting from local storage, we have something called as, okay, we have to pass from the local storage. So let me go into local storage, that is nothing but local storage dot get item of local storage keys dot ID, and I want to pass a password. So the password can be anything like new password or confirm password. So let me use a payload dot password or new password, because if it comes into this particular statement, so here that will be a confirm password will always be equal to the new password. So we will be using new password here. Yeah, so when this new password and confirm password are same, that should come inside this. So here we will be updating it, and if this exists, then we have to show the value. So what I'll do is I'll do a one more check over here, because this local storage dot get item can be null. So in that case, I'll be using const user ID, because we need to check it. We cannot send an empty or undefined. So let me use like this. If I have that local storage value, then I'll be storing that local storage value. If user ID does not exist, then I have to throw something like invalid user. So let me go here and just use something like the same snack bar service, put it over here, and what we will do is we will say that user ID does not exist, please log in. So once the user sees this, we have to log out him, set timeout, and the set timeout will be of like 2 seconds. We will be showing this, and then we will be logging him out. So for that sake, what we will do is we will be injecting our service, that is nothing but private router service, and the service name is router. So let me go here, I'll just use this dot router dot navigate off. I want to navigate to login page. Okay, and now if it is not the case, then else condition. So I have to put all this into else condition and pass the user ID. Let me pass user ID. So user ID I am passing to it, and the new password I am passing to it. So this will reply me with a subscription, and the subscription will respond with a object, and the object is iUser object. So once I receive this iUser object, again there are two cases. There may be a chance of error. So whenever there is an error, we have to handle it. So let me put this error as any, and I'm just using this particular snack bar again, telling that password updated successfully. Now if it is an error, again copy this and put it over here. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. So let me save this. Now once the password is successfully updated, I want to reset whole form. Already we know about this logic. Let me go into our reset password.html, and here if you see, we have something called as a button called as reset, and I can use hash variable, that is nothing but reset button, and I can access this reset button inside our TS. Let me go to the top and let me add a view child @view child, and the view child value is reset button. Let me give a space and let me give button value here, that is nothing but element ref. So let me not condition because we are not assigning anything. So let me copy this reset button, and once the user saves successfully, we have to clean up. So I can click that button to clean up. So native element dot click. So once I click that particular button, it automatically cleans up. So let's see how it is working, and we will minimize this particular logic now. So let me go here and let me clean this off and just give the password. The current password whatever we have is this one, sai@12345, and then I can give something like sai@1234556 and sai@1234556. And there is one more problem. Whenever we are using this, it is showing both errors. We should not show both the errors. So sai@1234556. Now you can see here it is having a value, and this is also having a value. Let me click on this reset password. So once I click on the reset password, if you go to the network, there is a problem here, native element, but the password got updated. First we will see that. So we are sending a password, and the password is I123456. Let me update this. Let me cancel this and data load this again. So you can see 123456. That means it updated our password value. So our password logic is working as expected, but the only problem is we are getting undefined for this particular native element. So whenever I am getting that particular native element, we are getting a problem. Let's see how we solved that in our register. So here also we have something called as reset button, and this reset button we already used in our register, and it is something like reset button, but it is a mat button. So let me go here and put that mat button. Instead of element ref, I'll be using this mat button. Now this mat button will not have native element directly. Instead, it will have underscore element ref dot native element, and click this. Let me save this. Enter something like the current password. Let me give the wrong current password. For example, in this case, we have this as a current password. Put it over here. And let me make it as sai@1234556, the same password and the same password. So if you see here, all these have the same password. Let me click on reset password. Current password should not be equal to confirm or the message whatever we are showing over there. Now we are not saving this. If you go here, you are not able to see the network call. So what I'll do is just I'll remove this and remove this. So it is also valid one. So let me click on this reset password. Now you got this password updated successfully. Let me go here, and again it didn't cleaned up. Why? Let's see. It is also showing again a problem called as element ref problem. So why we are getting this problem is because I think we are not saving this reset button. Yeah, HTML is not saved. That's why you are getting a null. And even we can use element ref also, but to specify exactly what we want to give, I am using that reset button as a mat button. So let me go here and give the current password again. Let me cancel this, get the current password, that is with 5, that is sai@12345. Put it over here, put it over here and here. Okay, let me update this to 4 and 4. Let me click on reset password. Now the password successfully completed and this got collapsed or moved away. But after that also password does not match is existing. So that means we have to reset that. That means we need to move it to null state. Once the update is done, I can move this dot reset, or we can say that match is equal to, I can say it as null. So whenever it is null, you will not see that particular message. So we are done with this. Now what I want to do, now if you see here, we are writing snack bar, snack bar, snack bar, and it is only taking around 30 lines of this. So I don't want to do that. Instead what I'll do is I'll create a private method, show snack bar. Okay, so what this will do is it will just receive some set of snack bar data and it will open that particular pop-up. So what I'll do is just let me cut this and put it over here. What I'll do is, this is the dynamic part. So let me use a message as a dynamic part, and I can use something like content. So here this should accept only a string, and I can use a content or dismiss value, and the dismiss value I can use it as an optional case, and the optional case will be equivalent to this X mark. If I'm passing that content, it will take the content, otherwise it will take the cross mark as a default one. And we have something called as duration. So let me make this duration also as dynamic, and the default duration is 3000. So let me copy this and put it over here. If you want to pass, you can pass some other as well. Copy this content, and instead of this X, I can use a content, and let me remove this and let me make it as message. So if I get a message, it will be showing that particular message. So message is a mandatory part. So let me copy this, and instead of doing all this, what I can do, I can just call the snack bar with a message. So copy this and put it over here. Let me give semicolon and remove this. So we don't need to use any big logics now. So let me copy this and replace this one, and we can use something went wrong as a message, put it over here and then remove this. So this is about show snack bar. Okay, I think we removed a lot content, and format this. So let me copy this, let me put it here and just copy this password updated successfully, and then let me remove the snack bar again here. So let me go here, the same thing, let me copy and put it over here and remove this, and then I can use that particular user ID does not match, please log in, and just put it over here, clear this off, save this. Now if you see the things whatever we did over here, it is very simple, and if you are seeing this particular method, it is not crossing more than 25 lines. If it started at 51 and it ended at 75, and we have an else condition over here. What is this if condition? Let's check that if condition. So it is not matching with the current and the confirm password. So let me copy this and put it over here. What we'll do is we will say that current password should not be equal to new password. So now let me save this. Till here we are fine. We are getting the confirm password, and then we are checking the local password. That means we are checking the current password and new password, and we are checking the confirm password. But one thing we are missing over here. The current password whatever we have entered, is it right or wrong? So for example, let me go here. Here the current password is something like sai @ let me go here, fetch the data again, and this is the current value. But what I'll do is I'll not give the proper current value. For example, I gave 123, and here I gave, now if you see here, I gave the same password for current and the confirm password, and I'm trying to click the reset password. What will happen? Let me click on reset password. If you see password updated successfully, so already the password is same over there, but why we are updating it? That is one thing. And I didn't give the current password in a right format and right value. Even though we are saving it, that is wrong. We are checking only in the local, but we are not checking with the mock API. So what I'll do is, first I'll get the value. So what we will do whenever we click on the reset password, first go and check the value. So for that sake, what I'll be doing is, I'll be writing one more subscription. So this dot check password, or we can do something like, I'll be keeping this reset password like this only. Okay, so instead of reset password, I'll be using something called as public check password, and inside this check password I'll be using a void. And what I'll do is, first I'll get the current password which is already available with us. So how we can get that? Already we know that this dot user service dot get user by ID, and already we know that user ID. Let me copy this and put it over here. This is my user ID and pass it. Now this is an observable, you will be getting that observable, and inside this observable let me use something like a response, and the response is user response. So this is an arrow function. So now you got the whole user response, but you want only the current password. So now what I'll do is const stored password equal to response dot, we have something called as password. So this will be our stored password which is already stored in that. And now we have to check that if my stored password is equivalent to the password whatever we are getting inside this payload. Let me copy this payload dot, I want to check current password. So if it is equal to the current password, then only you have to save it, else the current password does not match. So we can show a snack bar that is nothing but current password does not match. We can remove this and we can say that current password does not match. So this is one thing, and we checked with the backend current password. If the stored password and the current password is equal, then I can go and reset my password. Let me copy this and call here this dot reset password. It is very simple. Like what we are doing is, we are first calling the get user by ID and we are checking the current password and stored password. If both are same, then we are just going further and checking the remaining conditions over here. This can be written vice versa, because if we are calling this as a priority, even if the new password and the confirm password are not same, then also we are calling an API. That is one of the problem. We can solve that as well. What I can do is, instead of calling this check password from the UI, we will be calling the reset password. If the reset password is successful and we don't have any problem, then we will be calling this dot check password. So it will be checking the password now. So once the checking password is done, we will be moving this particular logic into another way, like store or update password in API, and it will not return anything, void. Now we don't have user ID and the payload. That is very simple. Either you can pass this user ID and the payload, or just copy this user ID and put it over here. That is also fine. So we are checking this user ID, and if user ID does not exist, then we are checking. If that user ID does not exist, then we are checking that whether that user ID exists or not. If possible, try to pass this user ID to the check password if you want. So now what we are doing, first we are calling the reset password, and then it will go into the check password. Inside the check password, we have to call this particular new method which we have written, and the new method written is updated password. So if you see this, my check password will be private and update password will be private. From the UI, we will be calling the reset password. So let's go in a easy manner. So let me call this on the top. So first reset password will be called, then private, and let me minimize this, cut this, and then we will be checking the password. Once the checking of the password is done, we will be updating the API. So that is how we will be going in a proper flow. So let me save this, and now let's check again. Now what we'll do is, we will be using a different one. So let me cancel this, update, and here you have sai@1234. So let me go here and put it over here. Now let me put the same and put the same. So here also 1234, 1234. So now if I pass wrong, that means sai@1234 is wrong from the current password which already stored. So let me go here, reset password. So you can see that current password does not match, because we have the password as sai@1234. That is one check we did. So let me pass the current password, but if the current password is equal to the new password, we should not save this. Let me click this. Current password should not be equal to new password. That is also done. Let me remove this, but we have to have 8 characters. Let me give 45 and 45. Let me click on reset password. Now the password updated successfully. Let me go here, cancel this, data, and you can see sai@1234.5. So that means we have completed our reset password module. So it is a bit tricky. Try to watch couple of times so that you will get a clear understanding. Now I'll give a glance about this. So what we are doing over here is, it is very simple. Like inside the reset password, we are calling a submit, and on submit we are just going and calling this reset password. So it will go into our reset password of TS file. So once the reset password is done, it will check some validations, that is only front-end logics, and every front-end logic is perfect, then it will go into the check password. Inside this check password, it will call the API, and then it will be checking the value, that is the current password whatever we have entered. If the current password is properly matched with the password which is already stored in the DB, and then we will be updating our password. So whenever we are trying to update, again we will be calling update password by user ID API call, and once you get the response, you will be showing that particular response, and we will be calling the snack bar service. So this snack bar, we are passing just a particular message, and automatically whole snack bar is a common part. So this snack bar, in the further videos, what I'll do is I'll make it a particular service layer, and inside that service layer we will pass this particular show snack bar value, and automatically it will render in our UI, so that it will be used in all the modules in a easy way. Instead of writing couple of lines, we can write in one single line. So that's about reset password. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. If you have any questions, please try to comment in the comment section, so that I'll try to either do a video, or if it is possible, I can respond to you in the comments itself. Thank you.